A pleasant good morning and welcome to King's News Broom. 45 minutes of the most compelling news from Liberia and other parts of the world. Today is Monday, March 17, 2025, and I'm your presenter, Otis Sankan. Stories topping the news this morning. National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority suspended Director General names key achievements made under her leadership as President Joseph Boakai appoints new leadership. Emma Glasgow plead the workers to embrace the new team at NAFTA. Minister of Finance and Development Planning discloses that the government has stepped up support to the education and health sectors to mitigate the impact of USAID cut. Liberia Grand Mufti Sheikh Abubakar Sumaworo sharply criticized Waka Kong government for not subsidizing Islamic schools. And away from Liberia, at least 34 people have died in the U.S. after violent tornadoes tore that torn through several southeastern states, flipping cars and flattening homes. Opposition parties in South Africa have called on its president not to be bullied by the U.S. after Washington expelled Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool, giving him just 72 hours to leave the country. The headlines, the news bulletin, the voices of the newsmaker, and other development are all packaged in the 6 a.m. edition of King's News Pro. But let's take a very short break to return with the full bulletin of the news. Thanks so much for rejoining us on the news program. The suspended National Fishery and Aquaculture Authority Director General has outlined serious achievements made on a whole and extended appreciation to employees of NAFA for what she termed as wonderful time shared. In a Facebook post Sunday, Madam Emma Glasgow said the gains made by her at the institution was based upon excellent working relationship from the workers and further challenged them to embrace the new leadership of NAFA. She named a 40 million World Bank and 20 million OPEC international funds, 3.1 million Islamic project, which supports the establishment of microbiology laboratory, a 3.5 million FAO project, 25 million EU projects in work in progress to be approved September 2025 are key impacts made under her leadership. The suspended NAFA boss also named a 12 million EU project, which was inherited from the Elaine regime, as well as the signing of multilateral agreements and several bilateral MOU, signing of the bilateral partnership agreement between Liberia and Senegal, ratification and domestication of fisheries international instruments, such as the Port State Measured Agreement, Fisheries and Aquaculture Management and Development, that's Development Laws 2029. According to her updating the Fisheries 2010 regulations as sections of Regional Fisheries Management Organization, FMO, such as the International Whaling Commission, IWC, Ministerial Conference of African Countries Bordering the Atlantic Ocean, ATLANTCO, Cape Town Agreement on Fishery Vessel Safety, commissioning of an independent and country-specific fisheries research stock assessment to ascertain the commercial viability of our territorial seas since 1982, among others, were all made possible through her leadership. Madam Glasgow said livelihood programs developed for local fishermen, such as the Net Exchange Program, outboard engine programs, life jacket safety programs for local fishermen, a recent 2 million micro loan for women in fisheries fishmongers, the new fiberglass engine boats, which just arrived in country to enhance local fish production, processing, and storage facilities for women in fisheries, among others, were all ensured. She also pointed out the establishment of the fishery and aquaculture sciences BSc programs at the University of Liberia, including the recently built fisheries dormitory and administrative building at the University of Liberia, as well as the construction of the new NAFAD headquarters, among many other institutional and legal reform, which was developed and implemented for the successful running of the institution. The government of Liberia has announced what it described as more belt tightening measures to mitigate the impact of USAID aid cut to Liberia. Minister of Finance Augustine Gaffan disclosed that the government approach in addressing the current aid cut could focus on rationalizing expenditure, stepping domestic resource mobilization, and forging stronger partnership with other bilateral and multilateral partners. Speaking at program marking the 216th birth anniversary of President Joseph Jenkins Rabos, Mr. Gaffan said before the USAID cut, the government has begun taking steps to reduce its spending on items and activities that seems to be less critical. The program was organized by the J.J. Rabos Foundation in Monrovia during the weekend. According to him, the government also issues fiscal rules tightening measures that reduce spending on food, foreign travels, scratch cards, and non-essential goods and services. He said the government is prioritizing expenditures on road and bridges and stepping up support to the education and health sectors to mitigate the impacts of USAID aid cut. The finance minister explained that last year, through improved domestic resource mobilization efforts, the government raised approximately 700 million United States dollars in domestic revenues, the highest in Liberian history. Mr. Kafwan noted that this year the government is taking robust measures aimed at meeting the exceeding its wish-for revenue generation target. The Grand Mufti of Liberia is calling on the government to subsidize Islamic schools in engaging or in providing Arabic and English education to youth in the country. Sheikh Abubakar Sumaroro noted that Islamic schools were receiving subsidies from the government during the administration of President William R. Tarbot and Samuel Kyan Doe, but such subsidies have been cut for no reasons. Sheikh Sumaroro made the calls when he spoke at the program, marking the presentation of awards to winners of the 8th National Quranic Recitation Competition organized by United Dawat Oman of Liberia in Concotan during the weekend. Meanwhile, members of the organizing committee, Mohammed Soud and Abubakar Bari, have thanked their sponsor for supporting the competition. George Roosevelt Willard has finally disbanded the trial jury that was selected to hear the former finance minister Samuel Twain on his ongoing corruption case. The disbandment of the trial jury follows the presiding justice in Chima at the Supreme Court alternative rate of prohibition, which stopped Judge Willard from hearing the former top government official at the criminal court seat until the High Court can pass on the matter. According to our judiciary correspondent, Judge Willard on Friday disbanded the jury from the sequestration areas at the Temple of Justice, though it remains unclear as to what led to Judge Willard's decision. But report says he was instructed by Chief Justice Siana Yeo to scatter after one of the jurors, along with a bailiff, got ill at the sequestration quartered at the Temple of Justice. Our judiciary correspondent said one of the defense lawyers, Councillor Arthur Johnson, has since argued the ex-finance minister and others are immune from criminal prosecution under Article 61 of the 1986 Constitution on grounds that they acted under the instruction of former President George Weah and the National Security Council. The Supreme Motorcyclist Transport Union of Liberia has accused Unity Party Chairman Reverend Luther Tappet of distributing 25,000 Liberian dollars among commercial-backed motorcyclists across Montserrat County to undermine the fight against the government no-go zone restrictions. Speaking during the media engagement Sunday, President of the Supreme Motorcycle Transport Union of Liberia, Chokon Green, described the alleged act by the UP chairman as evil plan intended to silence the right to freedom of expression and movement. He called on the Unity Party national chairman to desist from making what he terms mockery out of that situation and urged him to use his position to engage President Bouaka to lift the ban if he cares about their well-being. The Supreme Motorcycle Transport Union of Liberia had at the same time made clarity on their recent slogan in which they said people will lose if they are tired protesting. He said the context in which they sang the slogan was about financial losses and not human disappearance has been speculated. Following controversy of Liberia annual conference of the United Methodist Church endorsing same-sex marriage, the UMC has rejected involvement of supporting LGBTQ plus activities. The United Methodist Church over the weekend, for the first time since allegation of its support for same-sex marriage, conducted a wedding between a man and a woman at the Trinity United Methodist Church in Nikutown. The ceremony brought together other denomination heads, friends, relatives, as well as some clergy members of the United Methodist Church to witness the occasion. The United Methodist, both locally and internationally, for the past years has been struggling to either legalize same-sex marriage or not, something that is believed to divide the church, with members questioning the sanctity of Christianity. But in response to the accusation, Trinity United Methodist Church wedded Frank Slewian and Anna Slewian Saturday in the borough of Nikutown, said the church support a union between a man and woman. A reporter who witnessed the occasion said that despite controversies, parties with grievances on same-sex marriage were seen having favorable conversation that appears to resolve the matter. Residents of Simavulat Clan in Grand Kitman County have given it 1 week ultimatum to the management of Bear Mountain Mining Company and District Number 3 Representative Wisit Fekar to provide their just benefits. The spokesperson of the aggrieved residents accused the management of Bear Mountain Mining Company of reportedly depriving them of their just benefits, adding it has affected the clan. The group described the denial of the benefit as unfortunate on grounds that the Bear Mountain Mining Company failed to recognize Simavulat Clan as an affected region. The group, through their spokesperson, accused Representative Fekar of influencing the company not adhere to its social corporate responsibility to the clan. They vowed to engage into unspecified actions upon completion of the ultimatum if Bear Mountain fails to address their concern. The principal of Wellman Central High School in Bapulu County, Blaman Conan, named lack of access to water as major challenge which impedes the school. Speaking to reporters in Bapulu County over the weekend, Blaman Conan said the school is faced with lack of safe drinking water to maintain its operation, something he said is unsafe for the students and school administration. He further stressed that universal access to safe and clean drinking water is a human right, but it is the contrary at the Wellman Central High School in Bapulu County. He called on leaders of the county and education stakeholders to swiftly intervene in the situation to avoid the outbreak of waterborne diseases at the school. President Joseph Boakai has nominated a legal practitioner as county attorneys at various counties in the country. The designated lawyers are Councillor John Mead, County Attorney, Nimba County, Councillor Gabriel Willett, County Antonin, Grand Crew County, Councillor Luther Som, County Antonin, Lofa County, and Councillor Patot Jaba, County Antonin, Broom County. Others are Councillor Yankampo Dei, County Antonin, Grand Kitman County, Councillor Arthur Washington, Bipolu County, Councillor Joshua Odit, County Antonin, Maryland County, and Antonin Frank Suku, County Antonin, Sano County. Our judiciary correspondent said that the lawyers' nomination are subject to confirmation hearing by the Liberian Senate, consistent with Article 54 of the 1986 Constitution. In away from Liberia, at least 34 people have died in the U.S. after violent tornadoes torn through several southeastern states, flipping cars and flattening homes. In Kansas, a dust storm on Friday afternoon caused a crash with more than 50 vehicles, killing at least 8 people. Texas saw a similar mass pills up. A state of emergency has been declared in several states, including Arkansas, Georgia, and Oklahoma, where more than 100 wildfires were raging. A third day of severe weather was forecast for Sunday, with flash flooding and more tornadoes warnings issued across the region. The National Weather Service (NWS) warned of intense to violent tornadoes, describing the situation as particularly dangerous. Opposition parties in South Africa have called on its president not to be bullied by the U.S. after Washington expelled Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool, giving him just 72 hours to leave the country. Rasool was declared an unwelcome person after U.S. State Secretary Marco Rubio called him a race-baiting politician who hate America on Friday. Tensions between South African and the U.S. have been on a downward spiral since U.S. President Donald Trump came into office. However, South Africa Minister of International Relations Ronald Lamola told the state broadcaster SABC that it is not helpful to engage in Twitter diplomacy, saying the two countries need to talk face to face. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's News Broom. Indeed, if you are just joining us, it's a reminder that you are in tune to King's News Broom. 45 minutes of the most compelling news from Liberia and other parts of the world. Stories topping the news this morning. National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority suspended Director General names key achievement made under her leadership as President Joseph Boakai appoints new leadership. Madam Emma Glasgow plead with workers to embrace the new team at NAFA. Minister of Farmers and Development Planning discloses that the government has stepped up support to the education and health sectors to mitigate the impact of USAID aid cut. Liberia Grand Mufti Sheikh Abubakar Sumaworo sharply criticized Boakai government for not subsidizing Islamic schools. In a way from Liberia, at least 34 people have died in the U.S. after violent tornadoes torn through several southeastern states, flipping cars and flattening homes. Opposition parties in South Africa have called on its president not to be bullied by the U.S. after Washington expelled Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool, giving him just 72 hours to leave the country. We are taking another break, this time to return with the voices of the newsmaker. Thanks so much for joining us on the news program. The Supreme Motorcyclist Transport Union of Liberia has accused Unity Party Chairman Reverend Luther Tappet of distributing 25,000 Liberian dollars among commercial motorcyclists across Montserrat County to undermine the fight against the government go zone restriction. Yena is Chokongwade, the head of the Supreme Motorcyclist and Transport Union President of Liberia.
We want to have Reverend Luther Tappet, who attend to an ATM machine, distributing money among few motorcyclists to buy their silence and undermine our fight for freedom. Repeat, as chairman of the Rural Unity Party, you should be using your position to speak to the president of this as a chairman of the Rural Unity Party. You should be using your position to speak to the president about this unconstitutional ban to have this restriction. Instead, you are making mockery of our people, thereby they will be stolen 25,000 Liberian dollars to buy their silence. Mr. Tappet, this evil plan will not be achieved. The view of our rights and the government will be challenged.
He's Chokongwade. Meanwhile, the Supreme Motorcycle Transport Union of Liberia had at the same time made clarity on their recent slogan in which they said people will lose if they are tired protesting.
I think people are misunderstanding or they are misinterpreting our song. We sang a beautiful song, and I think even some of the people that were not protesting will all enjoy that song. We in no way mean that human being will get missed. We are not kidnappers. We are peaceful people. We are motorcyclists. We are in the street to find our daily bread. We are not interested in kidnapping people. We say we will start protesting people with loss. What is the losses that we're talking about? You took a loan for heaven's sake. You purchased a motorbike that cost $1,000 US. Pay the additional $300 to register. And a police officer with mask on the face that can be identified and arrest your motorbike. And you tell them all the swear depot you get from a motorbike. Who lost it? Are you not the one that owned the motorbike? Are you not the one that lost it? So we mean our people are started losing their finances. Our people are started losing their property. It will in no way mean that we are talking about kidnapping human beings. No. We made our property and others started messing. There are people here who can find their bag. They are going to all of the zoo and depot and their bag can be found. Who lost it? Is it not us? So we will be losing our properties. You the business people will be losing. You the press, you the media. If you need motorbike to go and cover your story, if you can't get it on time, what happens? Management lost because you have to be there on time. So we all will be losing. So that's what we mean when we say loss.
He's Chokongwade, the president of the Supreme Motorcycle Transport Union of Liberia, president, that's speaking. Residents of Seaman Vulat Clan in Grand Kitman County have given a 1-week ultimatum to the management of B Mountain Mining Company and District Number 3 Representative Visit Faircat to provide that just benefit. Yenan, the spokesperson of the resident.
Certain towns were selected in Semagura Popa District and Masaklen Tiwa District and deemed as affected communities based on the proximity of the towns to the operations area of the company. Barely a few months after the 2023 presidential and general elections, Honorable Mrs. Soni Feka, Representative District Number 3, Grand Kidman County, openly declared, "We converge here today to let Liberia and the world know that the act of depriving affected communities of Semavra Plain Popa District from benefits growing out of the operations of BMMC on our land by Honorable Mrs. Soni Feka is not only an act of cruelty, but seem amounts to the declaration of full-scale war." Honorable Soni Feka's cruel action is evident, among other things, by her refusal to sign a letter which was written, "We are also saddened by the fact that, Honorable, moreover, we see it as a willful neglect for Honorable Soni Feka to three citizens of the very district she represents with so much cruelty and bias. It further puzzles us to see Honorable Sonny Feka trying to deny us of benefits that we should be enjoying as owners and custodians of portion of the land on which the mountain mining company is operating and extracting tons of gold. It is quite disturbing to see Honorable Sonny Feka engaging in acts that will breed divisiveness, disunity, and confusion among the peoples of Pokpa and Tiwa District. We want to be emphatic, crystal clear to the big mountain mining company and the government of the Republic of Nigeria that enough is enough, and that we are now ever ready to demand in whatever form that the people of the affected communities concerned are giving Honorable Sonny Feka and the big mountain mining company a 1-week ultimatum to restore all rights that they previously enjoyed as affected communities, or else they will revert to taking unspecified actions that will lead to the restoration of said rights as is deemed for affected communities. To the BMMC family, we are beginning to see the slow or rather zero pace at which you are responding to our concerns. While it is true that you will not want to meddle in our district-to-district problems, it is only but fair that you consider giving redress to our concerns based on the 2 letters. The continuous dragging of this issue by you is something we don't take lightly.
He is the spokesperson of the aggrieved residents of Simavula Clan in Grand Kitman County. They're speaking. To this development, the principal of Webman Central High School in Babulu County, Blama Conan, named lack of access to water as major challenge which impede the school. He spoke to reporters in Babulu County.
One of the major one is water is our problem. Very challenging. You have tried several times to say you get water here. One of the major one is water is our problem. Very challenging. You have tried several times to say you get water here. Until they made flat rock. So we have even modern bathroom, all is all built by the government through the ARAS program. But we cannot use that. We can't use that. We can't use that particular toilet because of water. When they have a volunteer janitor who is bringing water through the PTA compensation, trying to bring water. Even with that, the water content is low for the students. You can go 2 times to bring water in here. It is a very major challenge here. And when from the community pump, the janitor goes there, draw the pump, draw the water, and come over here, put in the field. When it finishes, you go back there.
But do you have a land space?
Yes, it's space here. Here. There are 2 buckets there. There are 2 buckets that you can see outside there. Always 6 gallons at a time. Go and come. Through media, we have been talking over media, talking over other. They have not really come to visit, but they are aware of this because they have been talking over radio, they have been talking over other media information. Since 2017, I came over here. I took was 2017 from another school here. 2017, I met it here. Before 2017, I've been now calling on them to help us water on camp, allow or even use our morning toilet. But back then, you see the toilet, they're all loud. Even us as a teacher, we won't have because there's a pit latrine drone back there, and that pit latrine is not good for the ladies. Most of the ladies, even the boys who do not even use it. When the teachers sometimes go there.
He is the principal of Redman Central High School in Babulu County, Blama Conan. They're speaking to reporters in Babulu. The Grand Mufti of Liberia is calling on the government to subsidize Islamic schools in engaging or in providing Arabic and English education to youth in the country. Sheikh Abubakar Suman noted that Islamic schools were receiving subsidies from the government during the administration of President William R. Tubert and Samuel Kayando, but such subsidies have been cut for no reason. Yet now, it is the Grand Mufti of Liberia.
While the government is complaining about the drug issue in the country, is organizing securities to combat against the pushing and other drugs that can spoil the future of the children. We, the Islamic centers, we are preparing the brain of the children to dislike, to hate the drug, So these Islamic centers deserve to be supported by the authorities. And let's renew what we be asking for a long time. In Togo regime and Samian Kedo regime, the schools, Muslim schools used to receive the subsidy. If our government could see a necessary at this time to agree that subsidy should be given to any recognized school, it will be better. And here we are very thankful to the supporters of the Ummah Dawah. According to the report that we hear from the announcer today, the
Meanwhile, a members of the organizing committee, Mohammed Sow and members of the organizing committee, Mohammed Sow and Abubakar Bari, have thanked their sponsor for supporting the competition.
We would like to take this time to extend our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to every one of you, including the press. You were with us from the very beginning of this program. You've been here for the past 3 days, and you saw how challenging it has been to organize such a program and gathering people peacefully. And alhamdulillah, we are living from here peacefully. Everybody is living in a sound state of mind. And everybody who came here, not only the participants, everybody is a winner for the fact that once you come and listen to the Quran, you get your reward, you get blessings from it. So everybody is a winner in this competition, including all of us, the audience. What we are doing in terms of organizing the Quranic centers, we are now encouraging people, and we are also opening centers exclusively for females that will increase their participation in such a program. So this is what we are doing, and we'll try to do as much as possible to get them involved. In every year, we should come one step above. That's how we know that we are making progress.
My name is Abubakar Siddiq Bar. I'm so happy. I'm so happy with the United Dawa Ummah of Liberia. I thank them, and I thank all the parents of the children. I tell my friend, my Ecos, and put focus and read. Then to and come here and do the same thing more. I thank everybody. Most of the United Dawa of Liberia, may God give them blessing and help. I want to be a big imam in the country. My advice to them, let them put focus and read for next year when I come in. Let them put focus for it.
They are Mohammed Sow and Abubakar Bari, organizing committee heads of the Quranic recitation program. Earlier on, you heard the voice of the Grand Mufti of Liberia, Sheikh Abubakar Sumaworo. With halfway past the news program this morning is a reminder that you're in tune to King's News Broom, 45 minutes of the most compelling news for Liberia and other parts of the world. Stories topping the news program this morning: National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority suspended Director General names key achievement made on her leadership as President Joseph Boakai appoints new leadership. Madam Emma Glasgow plead with workers to embrace the new team at NAFA. Minister of Finance and Development Planning discloses that the government has stepped up support to the education and health sectors to mitigate the impact of USAID aid cut. Liberia Grand Mufti Sheikh Abubakar Sumaworo sharply criticized the Boakai Kong government for not subsidizing Islamic schools. In a wave from Liberia, at least 34 people have died in the U.S. after violent tornadoes torn through several southeastern states, flipping cars and flattening homes. Opposition parties in South Africa have called on its president not to be bullied by the U.S. after Washington expelled Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool, giving him just 72 hours to leave the country. We are taking another break to return with more development on the news program. Thanks so much for rejoining us on the news program. The government of Liberia has announced that that's what is described as more belt tightening measures to mitigate the impact of USA aid cut to Liberia. Minister of Finance Augustine Gafuan disclosed that the government approach in addressing the current aid cut could focus on rationalizing expenditure, stepping up domestic resource mobilization, and forging stronger partnership with other bilateral and multilateral partners.
When others retreat on us, especially as has recently happened with the gutting of a significant amount of aid under the USAID support program for Liberia, that's precisely the time to take ourselves more seriously. Our approach to addressing the present USAID aid cut focuses, but is not limited to, rationalizing expenditure, stepping up domestic resource mobilization, forging stronger partnership with other bilateral and multilateral partners. I need to say that even before the announcement of the aid cut, we proactively begun to take steps to reduce government spending on items and activities considered less critical. We issue fiscal rules that are essentially a package of measures, of belt tightening measures that reduce spending on such items as fuel, scratch cards, foreign travel, and other non-essential goods and services. We are prioritizing expenditure on roads and bridges and stepping up support to the health and education sectors to help mitigate the impact of the USAID aid cut. More belt tightening measures could be announced and implemented in the coming weeks as the situation evolves. I need to announce that last year, through improved domestic resource mobilization efforts, the government raised nearly $700 million United States dollars in domestic revenue, the highest ever in our nation's history. This year, we are taking more robust measures aimed at meeting and us exceeding our ambitious revenue generation targets. Our strategy quintessentially involves leveraging technology in revenue generation, plugging revenue leakages, and demanding more for the government in negotiation of concession and other agreements, and tapping on new revenue sources. Forging stronger partnerships with Liberia's bilateral and multilateral partners is one of the approaches we have adopted.
He's Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gafuan, that's speaking at the 216th birth anniversary of President Joseph Jenkins Roberts, held or organized by the J.J. Roberts Foundation in Monrovia during the weekend. Well, on that note, this is how we like to draw the curtains on this early morning edition of King's News Broom. But before we take a leave of you, here's stories we close the carry. The National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority suspended Director General names key achievement made on her leadership as President Joseph Boakai appoints new leadership. Madam Emma Glasgow plead with workers to embrace the new team at NAFAD. Minister of Finance and Development Planning discloses that the government has stepped up support to the education and health sectors to mitigate the impact of USAID aid cut. Liberia Grand Mufti Sheikh Abubakar Sumarur sharply criticized Boakai government for not subsidizing Islamic schools. And in foreign news, at least 34 people have died in the U.S. after violent tornadoes torn through several southeastern states, flipping cars and flattening homes. Up Opposition parties in South Africa have called on its president not to be bullied by the U.S. after Washington expelled Ambassador Ibrahim Raziv, giving him just 72 hours to leave the country. Many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, and contributors who helped in making this early morning edition of King's News a success. On behalf of the entire news team here at Royal Multimedia Business Group, my name is Otis Sankan, I present it. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Good morning.